Hello YouTube, it's me Dewey, and it is the morning of day 3 of my trip. There's 3 episodes before this from this trip so far, so go check those out if you want. If not, get going with this one. They're good on their own, they're standalone. The last episode you saw me ride the Custer Motorway, which was a dirt route between around Stanley, Idaho to Challis, Idaho. And that was super fun, super cool. I camped up in a beautiful spot. So today we are heading south on Idaho 93, and then we're going to cut over towards Yellowstone National Park. I'm not going to go through Yellowstone today. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to try to find a wild camp spot, probably somewhere around West Yellowstone. We'll see what things are like. We'll see if I can find anything. Maybe I'll get a campground spot. Maybe I'll wild camp. Maybe I will... A little horsey down there. Sorry. This is a beautiful area through here. This is wide open. It's not the thrilling riding that some of the other roads that I've had so far have, but it's incredibly scenic. Going through mountains on both sides of you. So I was camped somewhere up in the mountains back there last night. It's nice that it's up to 70 degrees down here now. It was very cool at altitude, to put it mildly. So I woke up to frozen condensation inside of my tent. That gives you an idea of how cold it was. So I wanted to show this valley while we were in it with the mountains. Today there's not so much interesting riding. You kind of come in and out of mountain ranges through this part of the country. And it's incredibly gorgeous, incredibly fun riding when you are in those mountain ranges. But eventually you hit the flat sections between those mountain ranges, and that is kind of what today is. I'm going to try to find some fun stuff. We'll try to do some other things. One of the places I am going to go through is Arco, Idaho, which is of course where the U.S. nuclear research program was. Most people know about the Manhattan Project and Los Alamos, New Mexico, which is of course where the U.S. developed the atomic bomb. But parallel to that, there was the nuclear reactor and enrichment program. And when we get to Arco, I will talk about that a little bit and show you guys the nuclear research area that's there. And hopefully you will find that interesting. If there's not interesting riding, we'll at least try to get you something interesting. But hey, I'm going to throw the tunes on center right now. I'm going to jam out. We're going to cover some miles, and I will catch up with you guys shortly. This is the Idaho National Laboratory. So we are going to go try to find EBR1. I looked on the interwebs when it's 10 miles ahead. I believe it's closed right now due to COVID, but we're going to see how close we can get. Here we are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, and that is experimental breeder reactor number 1. So I'm going to pull up there, get off the bike, and show you around. We are here at EBR1. This is experimental breeder reactor number 1. This is the first nuclear reactor ever powered on anywhere in the world. And they brought this online in December of 1951. And as you can see, there is nothing at all out here, which actually makes a lot of sense, because if you were going to turn on a reactor for the first time, you wouldn't want it around anything. So
you can see just how flat and desolate it is out here. This is a hard one to do an incredible riding video on and make it look interesting, but something like this is a good stop and show it. You can actually see some of the Reactor equipment back there. So I'm gonna get going from here and keep crossing this flat stuff. An interesting bit of note about the topology here is this flat stretch extends all the way to Yellowstone on the east, all the way to the Pacific Ocean on the west. And the reason for that is that this all used to be over the Yellowstone hotspot. As the continental plates shift west for the North American plate, that hotspot remains in the same place. So at one point, millions of years ago, this was where Yellowstone is today, and that flat swath extends all the way there. So you might see around here there's a few cinder cones and things. So I don't know the history of those, but there is a chance that those were there and erupted millions of years ago over where Yellowstone is today. So let's get back to riding and keep going with this.
This is some of what you get sometimes. This is not the epic scenery that you all become used to and I'm used to. But some days, this is what the day is like. Just hand on the throttle and go. So I thought this was funny. I don't know if you could read my GPS. It says Redwood Road ahead. I don't see a redwood, not one in sight. I was looking at the map when I stopped for gas last, and I figured out that if I did about a 60-mile addition to what I was riding today, and I think I still have time for it, hopefully I don't get in too late because of it, but I think it'll be worth it. You might recognize those hills there. It's a little hazy and the GoPro makes everything look small, but that is Grand Teton National Park right there. I am actually on the west side of Grand Teton. I am not on the national park side. I've been through the national park before and it was just impossible to route for this one. But what we are going to do is go get some epic scenery one way or another. I couldn't do a video without something, right? I had to go find something worth seeing on this. The big flats of Idaho just weren't doing it for me. So we made it to the not flat part of Idaho. I guess that's Idaho, Wyoming. I don't know which one it lies in. It might be right on the border. But I'm gonna find myself a nice scenic viewpoint, take some pictures for Instagram, and show you guys an amazing view of the Grand Tetons.
All right, everybody, so that's a wrap. I've got my adult drink here. It was all they had at the little store that I found on my way in. So there's camp behind me. I did find a spot to wild camp. Eventually, when you come down a road like that for far enough, you get to nobody's spot. What I'm really hoping, though, is that that mark on that tree back there is not a bear scratching post. I looked at it. I don't see any evidence of a bear. I think it's just either marked or people doing something, but let's all hope. But if you made it this far, hey, thanks for watching this episode. I think there was a lot more in it than I expected there to be. I didn't think today was going to be very exciting at all, but between the nuclear reactor and getting to see the Tetons and a little bit of scenery, I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will catch you on the next one. Dewey out.
One last note about wild camping in general here is, especially in this part of the world, in this part of the country, is don't take it for granted. I do have a bear canister, and every single thing goes in the bear canister every night. Toothpaste, soap, all my food, any trash, any cans, all of it, and it gets hiked out a good 100 yards at least. I usually go for more, and I leave it out there with anything. So You don't want to mess around in this part of the country. The bears are a real thing. I see a lot of YouTubers on doing camping and wild camping. They're always cooking right at their campsite and doing that, and it's okay in a lot of places, and even in bear country you probably can get away with it 9 out of 10 times, but the time you don't get away with it, you are not in a good spot. So top tip, anytime you're camping in bear country, especially wild camping, make sure that you have a bear canister, make sure that you do it right, make sure that you're safe, and enjoy it.